We back, man, and why everybody telling on Durk, man? Thought it was OTF, only the family. Nobody starting to look like OTF, only the feds, man. I'm telling you, the feds got this case on lock, and it's bad. So, Ren and Stimpy right here, they allege that Lil Durk hired them to kill Stephon Mack to get back, you know what I'm saying, for what happened to his brother D thing or whatever, right? Now, the problem is though, and what happened was, I said it was AJ. They said he ran off with the money and he didn't never pay Pal. Now I ain't gonna lie. If I was Durk, I wouldn't have paid now one of them. For one, it was sloppy. For two, y'all was caught on camera. Y'all ran and left the getaway car. Y'all threw the gun. They found the gun. Now, all this happened soon as they killed Stephon Mack. All this stuff started happening. Cell phone was left in the car. They left the car and didn't leave in the car. They on camera calling each other name out. AJ threw the rifle in the yard. The police found whoever found the rifle ended up turning the rifle in to the police. So they had that. They put the man in a cell with an informant. The man told the whole story, told everything. You know what I'm saying? So they business. But I guess they ain't trying to do all their time because now they done made a deal with the feds that said they are more than willing to come to court and tell on Lil Durk. It's over with. It's a wrap. Now, the dumbest thing Durk could have did was he had like $1 million in cash at the $1 million worth of game thing, right? They said that was the same day he did the AHA video. AJ is in the video. And right after that, he posted on his Instagram with the money, with Durk AHA song playing. It's bad. And now they both agreeing to testify and say that they did it because they was paid on behalf of young Durk, even though this one dude ain't never get no money. So he really wasn't paid because I don't know if he get him some later or not, but according to the paperwork, he ain't never even get paid. How you saying Lil Durk paid or you ain't never got paid? Crazy. So, but they ain't the only two that's telling on Durk. Vonnie out here. Vonnie so for sure that he coming home. He went and got married. Told this girl, hey, baby, you ain't got to worry about nothing. I'm going to come home and get it back in motion. I done bought you a ring. Don't worry about it, man. I'm finna cook Lil Durk. I'm telling them everything. I'm going to overtake. Baby, I'm finna tell more than 6, 9 to come back home and see you. That's what OTL Vonnie was telling this girl. He finna tell it all. The man done got married and everything.
Flip the table. Flip the table. Yeah. Flip the table. Yeah.
Look at him. Take a long look at him, y'all. Vonnie always looked like a rat. It is what it is. Hey man, Lil Durk fighting for his life, got the possibility of facing life, he may never see India again, and this dude done got married, is in the paperwork, and he on FaceTime with Shorty smiling while Lil Durk fighting for his life. You niggas, man. But see, Durk let Vonnie get too close to him. He started to trust Vonnie too much. And because he started trusting Vonnie too much, he started letting him in on things that he never should have been a part of. He started involving him in things that he should have never been involved with because he a rat. And Vonnie not like that. Vonnie is not from the streets. So at the end of the day, you letting him control your money. You got him doing all this illegal stuff. You know he not from the streets. You know he not like that. But you involve him, and now that he finna tell everything on you, why are you surprised? And like I said, them three ain't the only ones. Then we got this always been said. Lil Durk trial prosecutors so they have several cooperating witnesses who will testify that he was the real organizer of the killing. Exactly. Then you know what I'm saying. We got Jam. Y'all remember this? When they said Jam was out here, I think they said he was wearing a white. Now this whole wire thing, I'm not sure about because 1 minute they say it is wiretaps, and then the next minute it ain't no wiretaps. So 1 minute the police say they got wires, and then the next minute they say they don't got wires. You know what I'm saying? But everybody was like they felt like Jam was acting weird this day. I don't know if he was wired up or not, but I do know they say that he one of the people that's supposed to testify against Durk too. Now, why is this bad? Because Durk gave Jam a whole bunch of money on camera. See, this is another thing, bro. It's like the people that saying Durk paid them to commit crimes and murders and all this, he gave them money on camera. Feds said they got 59 devices, all type of stuff. We talking about text messages. We talking about videos. We talking about audio recordings, all type of stuff. And he's looking at the murder for hire or whatever, and the people that you paid to carry out these hits and do these criminal activities are saying, yes, he paid me to do it. Vonnie was always at Icebox with him, Von, whoever. Vonnie was controlling all his money. Vonnie was the one getting flights to get everything. So Vonnie know everything he spent money on. The other paperwork said, yeah, he was buying stolen cars, he was buying guns, he was buying this, he was buying that. Where y'all think that came from? Vonnie. Because Vonnie had control of Durk money. And so since Vonnie had control of Durk money, anything Durk bought that was illegal, anything, Vonnie know, and he already told him that. And like I told y'all, you could just look. That man coming home. That man coming. You ain't finna do a lot of time in the feds. You smiling like that. I'll tell that man coming home. He too happy. Done got married and everything. Durk in there do a line praying to the east. Got a carpet in there like Aladdin, hoping he can get out. And this man got the biggest grin ever on his face because he knows he's coming home. By the time he get done telling on Lil Durk. And if you just take all the evidence away, to me, the evidence ain't even the issue. The stuff that the feds got is not the issue. You know what the issue is? Everybody that's telling on Durk is the biggest problem with his case. Because they're saying you paid, you've given these people money on camera, you had Vonnie with you everywhere, including jewelry stores, clothing stores, all that. What you think a jury gonna say? Screw the evidence, y'all. Take the evidence out. What y'all think the jury gonna say when Vonnie get up there and start saying, like, yeah, you know, Durk paid for this, he paid for that, he bought guns, he bought stolen cars, because all that's in the paperwork already. Put yourself on the jury and think, if you was in that situation, what would you do? What what would you convict Durk? Would you find him guilty of not guilty? And y'all know he's the breadwinner, he's the money man, and all his so-called friends and so-called buddies or whoever, we not talking about some people he just got around. We not talking about some people that he just met. He spent years with these people. Years. And they all telling on him. You think a jury gonna be like, nah, they just lying on him. Like, he lying on him. Like, yeah, he just gave him $100,000 in the video, but he ain't paid him to do no crime. Y'all think a jury really gonna go for that? Now, this is crazy, but let's get back to Dumb and Dumb over here, because the whole Stephon Mack hit was sloppy anyway. It was horrible. It was terrible. But let's do a recap on that real quick.
2021, before the arrest of those responsible for Duck's murder, Lil Durk would end up experiencing a death of someone very close to him, someone who was allegedly involved in that murder of FBG Duck, his brother D-Thang, a loss which Durk took incredibly personally, and according to online rumors and recent paperwork, incited Durk to put money in the street to get revenge, money that would apparently lead to not just one, but 3 people losing their lives. Dante Banks Jr., known to his family as Booney and to fans of his brother Lil Durk as D-Thang, was born on September the 15th, 1989. According to their mother's memoir, D-Thang was in many ways the polar opposite of his brother Durk, who was known as a wild child. However, D-Thang also had a short temper, which would often get him involved in fights, and as he grew older, he would also begin to spend a lot of time with older guys from the block, who were hanging out near their home on the corner of 72nd and Green, this area being associated with a local gang known as Dog Pound. Durk was seemingly always close with the Dog Pound crew, but likely due to his closest friends being from Lamron and Taytown, he would also spend more time in that area, despite living in the Dog Pound's hood.
Man, what block we on, Joe? Where we at?
72nd Green.
What's happening right now, man? What's good, man?
Billy D birthday, man. My cousin, shit, out here getting it.
Now, ain't that crazy, too? All us supposed to be cool with each other. All us supposed to be one. I don't know what happened. Whatever happened, things hit the fan. Paperwork come out. Durk been sliding on the lamb and the O. I don't think the feds was right there when Durk decided, I want y'all to slide on the limb. I want y'all to slide on the O. But it's in the paperwork. So who told them that? We gonna find out when the trial starts. But I'm telling y'all, Vonnie was too close to Durk, and he know a lot, and he one of the main ones that been running his mouth. And the reason is because every time that money needed to be moved around, Durk had to call him. Unless Durk was just getting like some money for himself or something. But anytime Durk wanted something paid for, if it had any type of illegal activity involved, he figured going through Vonnie would keep his name clear, so he would go through Vonnie to get it handled. And that Vonnie telling everything.
Everybody out here?
Yeah, man. And it's a big drill out here, man.
It's a big drill?
Big drill.
Where y'all from,
Rude
man?
boy.
Where y'all from, fam?
This dog town here, man. Dog town wrong, but I'm what we doing.
D-Thang wasn't the only one in Durk's family tree who was claiming Dog Pound, as his late cousin and OTF artist Newski, who was seemingly very close with Durk and D-Thang throughout his childhood, would also claim this set, while also being closely affiliated with another set called Face World 079. Even the music video for Durk's first nationwide hit, This Ain't What You Want, was filmed in the Dog Pound's hood, as can be seen from the street sign of Green Street at the beginning of the video. Growing up, D-Thang would have 2 best friends, Chino and SB, who were both from the eastern side of the south side, with at least Chino allegedly being part of the THF 46 gang set located in the so-called low end. After graduating from high school, D-Thang would move to Iowa together with Chino and SB for work, but while being there, Durk would begin to send them songs that he was making, such as the track Lamron Wasted, which would begin to garner attention in Chicago, as SB would later explain during a DJU interview. He would be the one to tell Durk to move away from simply freestyling his lyrics and shouting out all his friends and affiliated sets to actually making more meaningful lyrics that people from all over could relate to.
After high school, me, D-Thang, and Chino had moved to Iowa. You know what I'm saying? We was out there hustling with the, the work, whatever, just hustling weed. Same time, I'm always who not only stay in the streets, but I'm a corporate too, so I get a gig, you know what I'm saying, a little supervisor job at a plant, you know what I'm saying, so I'm hustling and working, you know what I'm saying, doing both. So we out there around, you know, just chilling. We went to Iowa, you know, go out there hustling and then working. So I never forget, Durk would start sending us songs. You know what I'm saying, him and his homie Isaac, they were sending us records. I'm like, damn, this is really dope. I'm like, damn, you really got this. You know?
I see DJ U just sitting there looking like, I can't believe he just said that. I can't believe he just said they were selling drugs in Iowa. DJ U just sitting there rubbing his chin like, did he really just say that? Yeah, he said it. That's exactly what he said. Keep it going.
You know what I'm saying? He wasn't even Lil Durk, he was Tay still, you know what I'm saying? So he finally shot a video with Reggie, Status TV. That's his cousin, you know what I'm saying, Reggie. And the video was wasted. It's probably still on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? So it's wasted. So that started going up. Like, you know what I'm saying? It started doing good. Like, not even really doing YouTube videos like that yet. Right. So bro put it and it just started going up. And you know, so he want to do music for real. He want to do this seriously. So we moved back. You know, we was going back and forth, still hustling, you know, getting money to fund this. We moved back and really started doing this, taking this serious. And then before you know it, like over just progressing, he kept recording records. I used to be on this, like, you know, he used to always want to shout his guys out, shout everybody from the hood, the lamb, you know. Now he's always telling like, blood, the world don't know these. It's cool, shout these out, but you gotta start making real music, start having real songs. Like, I'm tired of every song hearing about your guys.
And after Durk's career would begin to truly flourish between 2011 and 2012, Durk would get D-Thang, Chino, and SB and invite them all to join his musical venture, and the four would start the OTF label, something that was actually documented in a noisy documentary that covered the come-up of these young music moguls. Unfortunately, almost since the start, OTF would experience some major setbacks. In May 2014, only a few days after signing his deal with the label, Durk's cousin Newski, aka Nunu, real name MacArthur Swindle, would be gunned down in Chicago, and as was the custom at the time, DJ Academics would soon report on Newski's death in his highly sarcastic style as part of his War in Chirac YouTube series.
It's your boy DJ Academics to restart the first 48 clock, start pressing up RIP t-shirts, because I gotta ask, is there heaven for a Chirac savage? It is with great sadness, great shock, great disbelief that I have to announce that OTF Nunu has been caught lacking at the mall and is now deceased. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please be warned, the following story is very graphic in detail and the involved is at maximum levels.
Following Newski's passing, some of his friends would begin to call themselves Newski Gang or Newski World in his honor. Many of these friends seemingly residing particularly in the Face World 079 hood. Newski's killer has never been caught, but online drill detectives have commonly held one man in particular responsible, this being 051 Melly, one of the most infamous people in drill music history. While practically being from different sides of the South Side, Durk being from Lamron and Melly being from 051 Young Money, Durk had ultimately gotten involved in a serious beef with Melly's set through Lamron's affiliated sets, such as 600, who were in a deadly beef with 051 at the time. There'd also been some people killed in the dispute between Lamron and 051 even before Newski's passing, with a Lamron member called OJ allegedly having been involved in the murder of an 051 member called Fathead, together with 600 members in 2012, while 051 on the other hand had allegedly killed Durk's good friend and a member of Lamron called Lil Rob in 2013. Melly's friend and 051's top rapper, Lil Mark, would also directly diss Lamron and Tay-Town in his March 2014 remix of Durk's song Competition, titled No Competition, rapping how he was smoking Tasky Pack, whom Tay-Town was named after, as well as Lil Rob, before saying that he's 300k and die L's, with L of course standing for Lamron. Only days after dropping the diss song, Lil Mark would be tragically killed at a bus stop, allegedly by Lil Durk's friends, one of these rumoured to have been King Von himself. And after this, Durk would diss Lil Mark in 600 rapper E-Day's remix to the song War, saying how he was smoking on him. Durk would also film a highly disrespectful video of himself at that very bus stop where Mark had been killed. Newski had also gotten into an online beef with Melly's good friend and Durk's.
And when Durk recorded that video at the bus stop, that's when everything went left. Keep it going.
Former friend Mubu Crump, who had a bitter falling out with OTF sometime in 2013, and following Newski's death, Crump would film himself at Newski's death site, even saying that he was at the scene with Newski's killer, making many believe that this person was indeed Melly.
I mean, Newski. They left his right here. I'm with the did. He don't want to be on camera though.
Less than a year after Newski's death, OTF would suffer another major blow, as OTF Chino, real name Uchenna Aguina, would be gunned down in March 2015 while sitting in his car outside of a fast food spot in the 8400 block of Stony Island Avenue after he had taken part in an anti-violence event. Newski and Chino's deaths were devastating for D-Thang, as he would often let his followers know on social media. Chino's murder also remains unsolved, but once again, the same two people, Melly and Crump, would be associated with the hit, with Crump being the one to diss Chino the hardest, again going to the murder location and asking the cashier at the food shop if they had an order for Newski, calling his meal of choice the Chino burger.
Hey, y'all got that order for Newski? Chino burger. Chino burger.
Meanwhile, only a few days after Chino's murder, Melly would tweet a tribute to his fallen friend Lil Mark, together with a cryptic line that indicated that Melly had gotten some kind of get back for Mark. Melly was also fond of dissing both Newski and Chino on social media, and he too would join in on Crump's burger joke during one of his Instagram lives.
Just let me a piece. Yeah, Chino burger. That's what they said.
Crump would continue dissing Newski and Chino, sometimes aiming his words directly at D-Thang, commenting under his tribute post to Chino in 2017 how D-Thang was the reason that Chino was dead, while Lil Durk was the reason that Newski was dead. Clearly, Durk and D-Thang were big targets for their enemies in the streets who had already killed people close to both of them. According to Durk and D-Thang's mother, D-Thang himself would end up getting shot twice between 2016 and 2017, but little is known about these incidents. Fortunately, he would seemingly survive both events with relatively little injuries. Mubu Crump, however, wouldn't be so lucky, and in May 2018, he would meet his end as he was gunned down in front of a house party during a drive-by shooting, where Melly would allegedly also get hit, but survive. The killers have never been caught, but the most popular theory online, surprisingly, points to the rivals of OTF, particularly a member of the STL EBT set called Can't Get Right, aka Get Right or Man Man. This theory being further boosted by the claim that another STL member, the infamous shooter Wooski, was allegedly later caught with Crump's murder weapon. However, this claim has seemingly been debunked by the YouTuber Loyalty and Betrayal.
Let's just be clear. Wooski was never arrested with a gun. He was arrested because he shot somebody in the leg twice who didn't want to press charges or whatever, but he was not arrested with the gun. The gun, the shell casings that they found, that they said with that shooting, that they are, I guess, assuming go with that incident, being how the guy moved, the gun obviously moved. So I'm not sure how they matched that up to say that belonged to that. But it matched the gun that was found 10 days later after Wooski was arrested. So Wooski didn't get arrested with the gun. So all those videos have false information.
After Durk's recent arrest for the murder for hire plot, some Reddit detectives have raised a question whether Crump's murder could have also been organised by Durk, with one Redditor pointing particularly to Durk's December 2020 song called Red Man, where Durk first speaks about his pain after the death of Newski before rapping a now jaw-dropping line where he seems to predict ending up in federal prison in 10 years' time. Durk then mentions how people are asking him what he'll do about someone whose name is bleeped out, but what sounds like he could be mentioning Crump, to which Durk simply responds by saying the other person is already dead. However, these lyrics are vague at best and hardly evidence of any.
And Lil Durk knew he was going to be in the feds. And that's exactly where he at.
Thing other than Durk's impressive ability to foresee his future in federal custody. Unfortunately, only a few months after the death of Mubu Crump, Durk would experience yet another loss that would hit very close to home, as his cousin Darnell Banks, better known as OTF Baby D, was killed in a shooting in the far south side of Chicago in October 2018. But this wasn't the whole story, as Baby D was not alone at the time of the shooting, but allegedly with D-Thang, whose age at the time matches that of one of the victims reported by local news, as well as another 32-year-old man. The trio would reportedly get ambushed in a McDonald's parking lot shortly before 3 a.m., all of them sustaining multiple gunshot wounds, but thankfully D-Thang would end up surviving once again, together with the 32-year-old man. In her memoir, D-Thang and Durk's mother would confirm him being one of the victims of the shooting, writing how this had been one of the most serious out of all of the shootings that D-Thang had survived, and how Baby D's death would leave him heartbroken. Baby D's murder would go unsolved, but Melly's name would once again begin to ring in online speculations, as photos would begin to circulate of one of Baby D's cousin wearing a Long Live Baby D shirt with a large F Melly text boldly printed on the front, together with a picture of him. Durk would also seemingly begin to diss Melly often in his songs following Baby D's death, like saying how there is one special op that they haven't killed yet in his July 2019 song Like That, or even specifically addressing the person who killed his cousin in his August 2019 song Die Slow, this likely being a reference to either Newski or Baby D, while seemingly giving an order to his guys to make sure that he dies slowly. Shockingly, exactly 1 month after the release of this song, 051 Melly would be killed on the south side of Chicago while attending a house party at the 6100 block of St. Lawrence Avenue, this being in the hood of the Jaro City and and Taekwon World sets. But despite the peculiar timing, Durk would seemingly have nothing to do with Melly's death, as his killer would allegedly turn out to be someone with a personal vendetta against Melly, a Taekwon World member called 007 Nate, real name Nathaniel Hicks, whose house Melly had allegedly shot up leading up to the killing. However, the evidence against Nate would ultimately not meet the burden of proof beyond reasonable doubt, and despite the facts that he was apparently identified as the shooter by multiple witnesses, and seen entering the house with a gun and then fleeing the house after the shooting, and being eventually caught a few days later with the murder weapon still on him, it didn't stick. Now, if that's not a sign that you can get away with murder in Chicago, I really don't know what is. But anyway, despite having nothing to do with Melly's death, Durk would seemingly keep dissing Melly in his songs, like rapping a bar asking how someone can get killed while partying in his December 2020 song Refugee, and rapping in his intro song for the January 2021 album The Voice that since the person who killed his cousin is dead, he can finally rest, as well as seemingly calling Melly his favorite op who's now dead in the August 2020 song Bad Guys by the former OTF rapper Timo. D-Thang on the other hand would tweet in June 2020 how every op that ever shot him is now dead and that he walks around with 50k in jewelry in his hood, with Chiracologists taking this to mean that Baby D's killer was now dead too. For D-Thang, the shooting that killed Baby D was a near fatal moment and should have probably served as his final warning to get as far away from Chicago as possible, but unfortunately this was not the case, as D-Thang would seemingly keep returning to his hometown time and time again, until finally in the summer of 2021 his luck would indeed run out. It was only 2 days after Durk hit another career high, releasing his #1 collaboration album with Lil Baby, Voice of the Heroes, during the early morning hours of the 6th of June, when D-Thang was out partying in the city of Harvey, which is in the far south side of the greater Chicago area. He was reportedly attending a strip club called Club O, located in the middle of the city's industrial district. According to the Chicago Sun-Times, who would seemingly confuse D-Thang to be a rap artist like his brother, they would explain that the shooting that killed D-Thang involved multiple guns, and even a police officer who was nearby when the shooting started, an officer who would actually get hit in their thigh during the chaos. Unfortunately, D-Thang would be shot in the head, and he was pronounced dead at the scene. Another OTF member called Trail had seemingly been at the club with D-Thang, and he too would get shot during the altercation, but would survive, later posting a thank you message to the people who had been concerned about him, as well as paying tribute to D-Thang and saying that he put his life on the line for him. Soon following D-Thang's death, there would be another deadly shooting only an 8-minute drive away from the club, which the police would consider to be a possible retaliation, the victim in this shooting being a 39-year-old named Sanika Price. But there has since seemingly been no updates about this get-back theory. From here, the media and fans would find out about D-Thang's death, and Reddit would light up with questions and theories, with many wondering why someone as famous and wanted as D-Thang, who had so much at stake with so many enemies, would risk going out partying at such a risky location. The internet would quickly turn into a hub for speculation, as amateur sleuths pieced together their own theories about what might have led to the murder, with some theories.
Yeah, that was crazy, and at the same time too, you knew when you was in there and you seen them guys, you knew it was gonna be an issue. You knew it was gonna be a problem. Y'all mugging, y'all being cool through the whole time, but then y'all mugging and ice grilling. See, I ain't one of them type people. We out somewhere, I notice a mug, some heat, some tension. Hey, you know what I'm saying? It's either I'm finna check your temperature on why you doing all this mugging and all that, or I'm finna leave. Either way it go, I'm getting out the gym. Either way. But it's a crazy situation, man.
Speculating that D-Thang had been killed due to his alleged past as a shooter for his Dog Pound set. These theories revolving particularly around Dog Pound's beef with a set called Dump Street, also known as Gutter Gang or Nate Block, sets that are part of the so-called No Love City alliance formed between numerous majority gangster disciple sets around Inglewood. As mentioned earlier in this video, No Love sets have been beefing with the BD sets from Inglewood, like Lamron and Dog Pound, since at least the early 2010s. Redditors would speculate that D-Thang's murder was get back for the 2013 murder of a man called 8-Ball, real name Marcus Rush, who was allegedly part of a set called CMB or Crazyville. This set having years-long ties with Dump Street, while having had at least a decade-long beef with the Dog Pound. D-Thang himself having dissed the set all the way back in 2014, with the wildest theories even claiming that it was D-Thang himself who had actually killed 8-Ball, while the most attuned drill whisperers would reveal that many members of 8-Ball's set had allegedly been posting tributes to him right after D-Thang's murder, with some of these tributes still seemingly being available online. However, many would question the rumors about D-Thang being a killer, as he had always presented himself as more of a businessman than a bona fide shooter, although D-Thang himself would change his Twitter handle to D-Thang 2 times in 2017. Now, the number and X combination typically symbolizes in the drill culture the number of bodies a person had caught, with the other D-Thang from the 600 set using the same combination to seemingly claim 3 bodies. But whether D-Thang himself had been behind the murder or not, he had certainly been dissing both CMB and Dump Street, aka Gutter Gang, before his death, making sure that he still had enemies in his hometown. D-Thang had seemingly also indicated that the younger generation of CMB and Dump Street had been dissing Lil Durk and OTF, saying that he doesn't even know them and that all his ops are dead already. And after D-Thang's death, CMB would seemingly return the favor by posting slick comebacks, as one member would post on his Facebook the morning after how Chief Keef had been the smart one to leave Chicago with all his friends, as they were all still alive, while another member would post how the BDs might run the industry, but the GDs still run the streets. This was followed a few days later with another member posting how they'll get into it with anyone, together with an 8-ball emoji, while another member would post how all their ops are dead. Meanwhile, some Redditors have claimed that D-Thang was killed because he had been bragging about putting money on Duck's head while being in the club that was frequented by the GDs. But whether D-Thang's murder was connected to the war that had been going on around his old neighborhood for years, or to something else. Not long after his death, this war would seemingly continue to claim lives, as on July the 10th, 2021, 2 men would be sprayed with bullets during a fatal incident at a Clark gas station in Inglewood. These men turned out to be a 20-year-old named Jalen Anderson and a 33-year-old called Jamie Hawkins, who were better known in the streets as Gutter Gang J-Ski and Gutter Gang Oil. Paperwork posted online by the watermark enthusiast Chusky the Real would reveal that a Jeep Cherokee had parked in the gas station for several minutes, but when Anderson and Hawkins had pulled into the gas station, at least one occupant of the Jeep would begin shooting at them before the car would flee the scene, and a search for its license plates would reveal that it was a stolen vehicle. Curiously, only a few days after this double murder, Lil Durk would make a cryptic post to his Instagram story with a picture of his brother, together with the caption, "Do it for D-Thang," as the post would be shared on Reddit soon after. One Chiracologist would comment that they had heard that OTF had indeed gotten that get back, while another commenter would identify J-Ski and Oil as the reason for Durk making the post. Around the same time as Lil Durk would make this post, D-Thang's baby mother would also make an Instagram story with a picture of D-Thang, this time accompanied by the song Lick.
And at the rate this going, they about to tack on everybody they could attach the Durk name. They gonna be bringing in more bodies. It's over with, man.
Back by the rapper ESTG, a song that essentially describes the need for always getting your revenge. These posts would prompt many Redditors to believe that OTF was indeed behind this gas station hit, but violence would continue to follow Durk from here, and just a month after his brother's passing, and a few days after the gas station shooting, a strange shootout episode would take place at Durk's home in Brazelton, Georgia, where unidentified invaders would break in with unknown motives in the middle of the night. Apparently Durk and his partner India would reportedly fight back by shooting at the intruders, but seemingly everyone would survive the shootout without any serious injuries, but the intruders would actually escape the scene before the police arrived, and at this point there's been very little information about what this whole incident was about. If you ask me, timing is incredibly suspicious and may well have been in retaliation for those 2 murders that followed D-Thang's death. After the home invasion, some months would pass, but in October, rapper Nardo Wick would release his smash hit Who Wants Smoke, featuring an all-star group of features including 21 Savage, G Herbo, and Lil Durk, together with a music video directed by the music video prodigy Cole Bennett. In his verse, Nardo Wick would rap a funny line about how he even pumps gas with his gun so his ops can't surprise him, something which Durk would then reference in his own verse, but adding how listeners better do like Nardo says, because people will die while pumping gas, which seemed to be yet another reference to the murders of J-Ski and Oil at the gas station. This was followed about a week later with Durk's song Pissed Me Off, which he would begin by paying tribute to his brother and seemingly saying they got back for him. Durk would then rap several bars about his need for a revenge after losing people close to him, even specifically mentioning how he can not feel happy until he gets back for his bro, something that seems to say a lot about his mindset at the time. Durk would then even directly reference the shootout that happened in his home, which makes me think he's letting us know that this was indeed connected to those cases. However, so far, Durk's rumoured hints about the alleged get back for his brother had been relatively vague compared to the self-snitching extraordinaires of modern-day drill music like Lil Jeff and Q50. But on the 27th of January 2022, the plot would thicken considerably, as 24-year-old Stefan Mack was killed after leaving a youth peace centre in the Roseland neighbourhood, located in the far south side of Chicago. Before the tragedy would strike, Stefan,
the sloppiest hit in the world, did by Dumb and Dumber over here. Sloppiest hit ever, bro.
who was also known as Youngin, was visiting the youth centre where he was reportedly an active participant. Meanwhile, a black Chrysler would enter the centre's parking lot with 2 men waiting inside the vehicle for about 40 minutes, seemingly waiting for Stefan to exit the centre. Then, at around 3 PM, when Stefan would step outside and begin to walk towards his car, 2 masked men would exit the Chrysler and begin shooting at him, with Stefan attempting to flee by running in the opposite direction. One of the shooters, armed with a Ruger AR-556 semi-automatic rifle, would chase Stefan across the parking lot before shooting him from a distance, which would cause Stefan to collapse on the ground near train tracks, where the shooter would run up to him and finish the job. Shortly after, the youth centre's security guard would step outside to find out what was causing the noise, which would prompt the second assailant to shoot him in the leg with a handgun. The shooters would then abandon the Chrysler in the parking lot and escape on foot. The security...
How y'all leave the getaway car? How do you leave the getaway car? You getting up out of there, you leaving the car. You do the hit in the car, you take the car. How do you leave the car? Oh, my God. Amateurs, bro. Then left the cell phone in the car.
Cameras capturing one of the assailants with a heavy build running away from the scene, and later that day, police would recover the Ruger AR rifle from the backyard of a vacant residence located nearby. Sometime after Stefan's murder, Durk and an OTF member called Chug would once again make suggestive posts on their Instagram stories, both using the caption "For D-Thang," with Durk also using the name of his recent song, Aha, which at this point hadn't even been released yet, while Chug would refer to something being a sad case. Not long after, at the beginning of February, one Chiracologist would post these stories to Reddit, whilst also linking them to the murder of Stefan, who the poster claimed to be a member of the set Smashville 85th, whilst also allegedly having connections with the so-called Melly Way that's named in honor of 051 Melly, with some even claiming that Stefan was in fact Melly's cousin. Smashville is located around 85th Street in the Auburn Gresham neighborhood in the far south side of the city, far away from the childhood stomping grounds of D-Thang and Durk in Inglewood. However, the set is affiliated with the Dump Street, aka Gutter Gang, from West Inglewood, who have been rumored to be behind D-Thang's murder. There weren't initially many theories about who were the two people behind the murder, but unbeknownst to the public at the time, the alleged killers were making sneaky references to their crimes on social media. For example, on the 15th of February, a man called Mike City AJ would post on his Facebook how his set had been spanking their ops so much that they're about to give up. As his name indicates, Mike City AJ has ties to a set called Mike City, or Mike Block, also known as Gator Gang, a BD set located on 86th and Morgan, which is named in honor of their fallen member Mike, who was killed in 2012. Lamron and Taytown have seemingly been affiliated with Mike City for at least a decade at this point, and AJ himself has clearly been close with Taytown members on social media for a while, even seemingly appearing in a March 2021 music video of TTE Day Day, who's one of Durk.
This nigga AJ in every video. This video, the Aha video. They love to put this nigga. They know he committed. Yeah, he shot him. Yeah, he killed him. Hey man, come get in the video. Niggas is crazy, bro. You can't make it up. You cannot make this up, bro.
Durk's oldest friends from Taytown. A YouTuber called Kenny Rogers, who claims to be from the same neighborhood, would open up about AJ's childhood and reputation in the streets, telling how AJ and other young'uns from Mike City were like sicarios, a private army for hire with a feared reputation, who would eventually get affiliated with OTF members such as Booney Mo.
Watched it and did what we did. You know, but AJ, they decided, like, they like scenarios, but I say scenario, sicarios. You know what I'm talking about? Like a private army for hire. You know what I'm saying? Now we warned them about that because when the guys came out there trying to connect and all that, like, no, we've been holding our own. What's like the, we know what y'all want. Y'all ain't finna use them. But you know, the younger guys got into too many, you know, they wanted to make a name for themselves. They wanted to hang around because of their name and shit like that. But we was telling them, y'all bigger than them. Real talk. But AJ, yeah, they was feared, and you can hire them to kill your cat if you wanted to. And not having somebody have your paperwork on the internet, and now you being affiliated with Booney Mo and OTF and all that other shit. And, you know, doing that to allegedly Stephen Matt, 051 cousin.
Indeed, on the 21st of February, less than a month after Stefan Mack's murder, Durk would drop his music video for the song Aha, which was filmed in Chicago. Later on, online detectives would notice that in one of the Instagram stories posted by people who were at the video shoot, you can see someone who
Look, man, look. Like I said before, it's not even about the feds having no evidence at this point. The dudes that's finna tell, they got all the evidence. I was in this video. Durk gave me this amount of money. I was here, I was there, everywhere. We been doing this. We been sliding this, that. Look, man, I'll leave it at that, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think about all this. I mean, if you feel like Durk could beat it, I mean, more power to you, man. Make sure y'all check out the playlist, man. I'm out.